Hello and welcome back to the Liminal Branch Library, the archive in the seams. I'm your Archivist and Librarian, Mordio Crow, and we're back for another episode of Root the RPG. This makes number 12. We've been at this for a while now, team, and it's the same team as always. Yeah, so reintroducing the same team. Down at the end, we have Amasha playing as Ember.
Yeah!
In the middle, we have Hambone playing as Milo.
Hello. I wouldn't have it any other way.
And right next to me, we have Nova playing as Miffy.
Witty catchphrase!
Nova slash Miffy. And last time, our Vagabonds had a little bit of trouble. Well, maybe it's not entirely fair. Main goal was accomplished, right? You all escaped alive. Jasper escaped alive. So in that way, your goals could be seen as a success. By virtually every other metric, including the getting revenge metric and the not being noticed metric, complete failure, however.
Yeah, we got like a D ranking on that mission.
Yeah, it technically passing. And so after that, the party spent a week or so in-game. Actually, I think, was it a week? A little bit more, somewhere around there, dealing with the consequences being hidden out in marquee protection. They also met up towards the end of that time period with Jasper's original client, an Eerie noble, who is also not particularly fond of the company's propaganda. And the party concocted a bit of a plan. They decided, wait, what would be the best way to weaken the company's propaganda in this case? Why wouldn't it be to make it so that everyone's sick of this story that they're marketing? And for that, of course, you would need a plausible performance, right? Something that could conceivably be taken for as canon, but also simultaneously have the worst ending imaginable. Now, of course, if over the course of this performance that ruins the story in the hearts and minds of the Woodland, you happen to kill the financer of this propaganda machine, who also happens to be someone whom Miffy has a particular grudge with, all the better. But you could address this. You can address the story using your own talents, or at least that was the consensus at the end of the last session. And so that's where we are going to pick up this session. Well, actually, before we pick up entirely, Ember, at the end of the last session, or a little bit after, you mentioned you were going to liquidate some of the treasures you had with the Lesser Lord here.
Yes.
You may feel free to convert them to simple coinage. They do have their value, and I think you are right in identifying that he would appreciate their historical value. So, if you want to just convert that, you're more than welcome to do so.
Sure thing! Let me find it again.
I'm gonna watch that happen in real time. Hold on.
While you're finding that, I will move us back to the bend, where we will... Well, this is where we're going to be keeping track of our performance. Now, I'm very excited to see if you all are able to spoil this story for everyone. Well, sour and spoil, so to speak, right? Because you're not just finding out the ending and telling everyone it, you're making one. And you want to get them upset about it, or at the very least disgusted and not interested. So, this is all going to boil down to the performance. And that performance is going to be a single roll. However, there's some setup here, and the setup will provide modifiers to the performance, whether that's in terms of just some raw bonuses that you can get, some consequences for certain types of rolls on the performance, or some extra costs you'll need to pay to get there, right? So, before I go into getting the mechanical the mechanical bits and bobs explained, which don't worry, I think they're going to be relatively straightforward. Ember, did you get your currency all set up?
I sure did. I have my starting value carrying what I have what my value is currently. That's where it's supposed to go, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think generally this system assumes that once you spend the starting value, you're more bartering with items than having coins. But for our purposes, it's useful to have the coins instead. So yes, just put it there.
Sweet.
So now that we're here at the bend, I will reveal in our top right, we have our little tracker here for the performance. As you do well in your preparations, you will get bonuses. And as you do okay or poorly, you will get setbacks. But don't worry, as the setback counter goes up, you will all have ways to decrease it. And honestly, if you manage to make it with no setbacks at all, just like by raw rolls, that will be extremely impressive. And things will go correspondingly well for you. But first, what are we going to do to prepare, right? We talked about last time. We wanted to use our friends the Marquis and their new printing presses, which they're just getting up on and online now, to make the pamphlets, perhaps advertisements, all of the things you need to make this feel real, right? And that'll be our first task. But even once we have those, we need more than just the pamphlets. After all, if you want to make this feel real to the people, you need a real performance. That means you need a location, you need advertisements, and all of this needs to not trip the suspicions of the company that's running the town. This is the domain that Miffy specializes in. This forgery, right? So Miffy, most likely, we can modify some of these if you guys think we're really out of line here. But then once we get the stage, once we literally get the stage and start setting it, we also need something to perform on it. And well, only one of us here is a creative, right? And that would be Milo. And so Milo's task, perhaps the most critical of all, or perhaps not, because afterwards, well, someone has to perform it, and someone has to look good while doing so, make it look professional. And now, each of these four will affect your performance roll, right? The performance roll for the actual play, and will also affect the amount of setbacks that that the play will have. Now, for most of these, with the exception of the pamphlets one, you guys are basically trying to trick and persuade people, right? So depending on what you're doing, either charming or cunning would probably make a lot of sense. But I'm also open to hearing other things, hearing the features that your characters have that might affect it or give you bonuses, etc., right? Or like alternative approaches. So I'll let you each start to think a little bit on how you'll handle your personal approaches or your personal tasks. And we will start with the Marquis here, because there was some discussion last time about whether you wanted to call on them for a favor or if you just wanted to pay them for it. Now, certainly paying them for it is something that is well within your means if all you're looking to do is have enough pamphlets for a single performance and maybe a couple flyers to put up around town. But the more you pay, well, you get your money's worth, right? The more you can pay the Marquis, and most of this will likely go towards covering raw materials and the cost it takes for them to actually, learn how to use the press expediently, right? The more professional your play will become, right? And the more widespread knowledge of it, right? So it's like, if you're only concerned with having enough pamphlets to hand out at the one performance, throwing up a couple flyers in the most popular eateries, you can probably get away with around 4 values worth of compensation, and they would just view it as a, like, okay, we're going to do this as a trial run, and that's fair to them. But if you want to actually make it widespread across the entirety of Velox's Bend, really try to attract a wide audience from across the city, then you're probably looking at closer to 8 value, especially if you want to send some runners over to the nearby towns as well and spread the word that way.
I have a question.
Yeah?
Sorry, do you want to finish your sentence first?
I was going to say, or, and now this is really if you want to get extremely excessive, if you're willing to delay a bit. Now, certainly, you're not putting on this performance tomorrow, right? It's going to take some time to get everything together, the writing, the location, and all that. But if you're willing to add some delay to your plan and spend a significant amount of coin, perhaps 16 or so, they would be capable of producing not only pamphlets for performance, but perhaps multiple performances, and advertising not just across the Bend, but thoroughly within marquee-controlled clearings nearby, and perhaps a little bit in the eerie ones as well.
I was actually thinking about that, like, as we're putting this together, it's like somewhere within the structure of the story. We go like, guys, what if we just kept this going, you know?
I'm pretty sure we're wanted in this town.
Well, I don't mean like we ourselves, but if we get this going and like maybe hand it to the marquee, we can earn some favor for them and help squish down the control of the company here. You know, make them more popular by comparison. If we put on a good show while also torching the reputation of the propaganda of the company.
How many shows do you want to do? What are you saying?
Oh, I'm just bringing the idea out there. I mean, it's not all I'm writing. I put away some of the scripts I've been working on. I'm just saying, if we kind of put some art department in the marquee, it'll help them close off any other advantage the company would have. We've already taken their lead with the printing press, so why don't we follow with them? I mean, it could be seen as just copying the competition, but maybe the marquee will. We're gonna do that anyway. Just get a head up on it and get some credit for it, you know? Just a thought.
I hear what you're saying, but we're actually not sponsored by the marquee. We're sponsored right now by the psychotic bird that hired us to kill a guy. So I don't think he's gonna really want us to keep on doing a play unless it's his plays.
Well, I mean, that's something we could discuss with him too, maybe.
Yeah, now to be clear, he wanted you to put an end to the company's propaganda arm. Now, perhaps due to an oversight on his wording, or perhaps due to an underestimation of you, he did not say, and in the process, don't start your own propaganda arm. That restriction was never verbally placed on you. Now, you're welcome to assume it. And it may, in fact, be one of those things where if you do it, there may be an irate employer afterwards, but you guys are vagabonds. You work for yourselves, not for, well, technically speaking, you do work for clients too if you want to get paid, but, you know.
Hold on, let me just check out my worksheet on my reputation real quick. Well, I guess we'll just keep it at the one performance for now, but depending on how it goes, maybe we'll, franchise out a little bit.
I think one performance is good for now until we get a vibe.
We get it rolling, and then we hand it off to someone else. We take a founder's fee. That's called passive income member.
Oh.
No, I'm not saying no, but I am saying let's see.
There we go, Miffy.
Oh, okay. So for my thing, I here's what I'm thinking, right? What if I advertise our play on top of their play, right? So they have a performance. I copy their advertisement, but change it so people come to our play instead of their play.
Oh. You scrub the venue, put ours on top of theirs.
Exactly.
I see.
That'll look so good.
But do we even
Voice
have
in
a
the
place
sky, is that plausible?
Yeah, I don't see why not. They have a very consistent location they've been using to debut the new stuff. Now, if you are trying to direct people to an official performance at a different location, then you certainly can. And if you make it look good enough, people will probably believe you, right? Like,
yeah. And I mean, the official place got broken into a few nights ago. Who knows if that's safe? Maybe they
for
moved the
safety
performance.
reasons.
Yeah.
yeah, for safety reasons, pick a different place. Yeah, clearly. And you guys will be, by the time you're done writing the play and having all this arranged, you'll probably be done with performances of the current scene, because they take a brief break before the next one, which will be the perfect thing, right? People will expect the next one to be coming out soon. So, in that sense, that'll work. All right, before we get to Miffy making rolls, though, to close out this printings and all of that, assuming that you all still want to pay for it, if you wanted to go with my preset options of 8 to get some very nice, the nice pamphlets for your performance, and then saturate Velox's Bend, that works for me. If you wanted to advertise in other cities, but just for only a single performance, we could go somewhere between the 8 and 16. But if the 8 sounds fine to you, we can lock that one in for now, and we can move on to the next thing.
Okay, well, I didn't take a look at my purse right now, but
I can do the 8.
Well, I don't want to impose, whatever you're comfortable with, Ember.
I'm going to be performing.
Ooh. All right, well, make sure to write an extra special roll just for you.
Dream.
Can I, if there's action scenes, can I be in it?
Ooh.
I want to wreck something. Can you write that in for me? Write in Miffy wreck something.
Yes, I will. I will do that. I'll put character parentheses. Miffy does a wreck.
Yeah.
Ooh.
All right.
I will lessen my value.
All right. It has been paid. And I think for this one, for the relatively quality, you got a solid amount of quality, but not like you're riding it all on a single performance, right? So I think what you've bought with your 8 value is we're going to give you a +1 bonus. I'm going to give you a +1 bonus to here, to your performance, and we're going to give you just a single setback, and we'll get into those later, because all of this is going to ride on a single night. If any factors come in to make it hard for people to attend on that night, right? Like a bad storm, it gets really cold, like any sort of trouble, you're putting all your weight behind that one instance. But we're still getting the +1 because the quality is still there, right? But there is a slight risk involved as well. That's where we'll put that one at. Now, for these next 3, I know Miffy was just talking about some stuff. Ember, you were also just talking about some stuff. We can roll these in whatever order you want. I have them listed here in what I feel the slightly logical order of doing it is, although theoretically writing the play can be happening the whole time. But, whatever you guys want to do, if one of you has a clear idea of how you want to go about doing it, feel free to speak it aloud into the world.
Sure.
How to do which thing specifically?
You each have a task assigned to you on the page.
Okay, understood. All right, get the venue. Do I know of any places that, I don't know, are there any abandoned warehouses or something?
Abandoned? Probably not in this trade town, right? That's been recently rebuilt.
Wait a minute, how about the park? Is there like a park here or something? Plays in the park are very common.
Miss Spear in the park?
You're thinking about doing something outdoorsy rather than indoorsy?
Ooh.
Yeah.
There we go. Well,
that
maybe
gives a very different vibe, and certainly would make it easier for people to come see it.
Is there any... Miffy, can you see if you can find something that's down on the shore, but not near the dock? Something that'll give the impression it's nearby the sea?
Well, we're in a goddamn forest, so I don't think there's any beaches. But
You're on a river.
There's a river.
This town's on a river. But
the river, that's different from a beach. But yes, the shore
There's
banks.
a shore. Yeah, sure. There you go.
All right.
Is sure
Outside
you can
shore
find
banks.
that? And I wink and nudge her little
Okay,
elbow.
so I think that's beautiful. However, the company lives on the river, so I don't know how great that is.
Well, just one side of the river.
They control the whole river, I believe, right?
They do technically control the whole river, though for practical purposes, they do allow small enclaves of the Marquis and the Erie on the other sides. But technically speaking, the company owns those the land those enclaves are on, right?
Well, if
I
you can
think
find...
that, we could, but I would suggest we already have a getaway vehicle.
Huh? Oh, I get what you're saying. Once we are found out, I see. Well, how about just get us a big enough basin, put it in a hole and fill it with water. That should do.
All right.
And maybe some sand. Get some sand. Have enough sand.
Oh my god. All right.
Or we could use the power of construction paper.
Cardboard, trash, good.
Paint.
Oh, be so avant-garde.
What?
So, is that possible? Voice in the sky?
You want a place that's in the open, near the river, with an escape plan? Is that correct?
Sure.
Don't say sure if that's not what you mean. You all just said a lot. I'm trying to make sure I understand.
I just wanted it outdoors.
Okay, outdoors is
if
doable.
That criteria works, then perfect.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that criteria works. Now, assumedly, you're going to be setting up, or are you planning on making this a guerrilla performance, right? You're going to just pop up and you're not going to pop up and perform. You're trying to advertise. You want people to show up, right? That means you need to have the space. You're still going to be getting permits for the space and all that, right? Using your forgery knowledge to try to make it all look legit.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, sounds good. In that case, Miffy, what I think you're probably rolling, unless you convince me otherwise, is that you'll probably be rolling a cunning roll to, get the right spot for the right permits and placing the advertisements in the right places.
Okay.
Does that make sense, Miffy?
Can I do a luck roll instead?
What makes you say luck would be better for this?
Because I might not be able to get the right, the things are booked that day, right? And I won't be able to book it that same day, so maybe it's more up to luck than finesse, or not cunning. Please!
So here's what I would say for luck. If you want to use luck instead, that's fine. I will allow it. But whenever you use luck in this system, generally, there's a consequence even on success, even on strong hit. So if that's what you want here, then sure, I'll let you roll luck, but know that there will be at least a minor consequence even on a strong hit. How's that
Okay,
sound?
alternatively, can I threaten people to get what I want?
That's a very different approach that could result in this performance being impacted at a greater degree than just forgery. So, alternatively, yes, you can threaten people to get what you want, but I may make the consequences for failure more severe. But if you don't fail, then that's not a problem.
I just have a -1 cunning. Is there anything I could do with my
we can
at least my
use our
forgery?
exhaustion. We can use our exhaustion to help each other out with this, right? Or
I'm making the
off?
assumption that this is over the course of a week, if not longer, and thus you all are mostly preoccupied with your own tasks. But you know what? That raises a good point, and something I didn't talk about earlier, but that was in my head, is that perhaps Jasper could help one of you with your tasks, giving you a +1.
All
and
right.
Miffy,
Okay. Oh,
you just
yeah.
said something about using your forgery skills, and you do have forgery skills, right? For counterfeiting.
Yes.
Let's see. So you gain the roguish feat counterfeit when you attempt to produce counterfeit documents during your intimate knowledge of your home faction's politics and procedures. Mark notoriety to make the move as if you had rolled a 12+. So what I will say is, forgery will only get you so far in your responsibilities, but I do think it would be helpful for you. So I will give you a +1 to your roll, and you can mark the notoriety for it.
In which direction? For who?
You mark the notoriety with the faction that you're forging stuff of, and it's always in the bad direction. They don't like you more because you forged
So
stuff.
is it Riverfolk or Marquis?
Riverfolk, because you're forging Riverfolk permits.
Oh man, I'm collecting those minuses like they're candy.
Alright, so you can have a +1 for your forgery, and then...
So additional, can I instead roll plead with peace or persuade an NPC? That uses charm. I'll go with that. That makes sense, right?
So the thing with persuading is you either have to be threatening them or you have to be making like an honest appeal, right?
I mean, I can threaten them, but it
Right.
still uses charm.
All right, then yes, then you can do that. But again, the consequences for failure will be more severe than what they would have been for just forgery.
Not even if I'm sincere.
Sincerely threatening them.
Yeah.
You can explain to me how Miffy is going to be sincere in this without giving up the ghost to the company, then no, the consequences would not be more severe.
What if I make an honest appeal that my good friend Milo, it's his dream to do this, and he's really into it, and it means so much if he could get this space with his requirements, the sand and the water.
Okay, and
It could just be we just find somewhere else, just a clearing or a stall.
Again, just to be entirely clear, before I decide whether to permit this or not, we're talking about going to company representatives who are giving these permits, right? The same company that a week ago you were spotted breaking and entering into one of their properties, and the same company who currently you're wanted for in this town, and you're going to appeal to them.
In the first place, if that's all the criteria.
What was that?
I mean, if you're gonna bring up all those details, then how am I supposed to do this in the first place?
I was thinking forgery.
Just do it and hope no one notices.
I was thinking forgery.
Oh, then I don't understand why I have to use cunning.
Because that's tricking people. And forging is tricking people.
Do you want help from Jess?
No, it's fine. I just whatever, I guess.
Yeah, now I'm asking for clarity, because if that's how you want to do for charming it, I think it would be similar to threatening in that if it works, maybe they just don't recognize you and they give you the permits. And if it doesn't work, they do recognize you and now they're on the watch for illicit plays.
Okay. I'm sorry, I just didn't understand. So I'm going to counterfeit this, which apparently uses cunning.
Yeah, because you're tricking people, right?
Okay. Sure. Whatever.
Right. And did you apply your +1 from your forgery kit?
No,
or your
I
forgery
didn't.
skill?
So that's a 10.
That's a 10, which makes it a strong hit. So all that negative Nancying over there, Miffy. And
I'm just trying to figure out what I can do.
all
Just
right.
wants to get off from having to do work. I see how it is.
I'm doing all the work, actually.
You're doing your best, Miffy. I appreciate it. But you know what? A smile goes a mile. You know what they say?
Tell me to smile one more time.
All right. Good job, Miffy.
All right.
All right, bye-bye.
Despite Miffy's visible stress, the forgery seems to go off without a hitch. Advertisements are placed, and the company is not tearing them down or otherwise looking into them, as far as you all can tell. And people seem to be interested. So we're going to increase the bonus on the performance roll to +2.
Nice.
Woohoo!
All right. Bringing it over to Milo, now you have the unenviable task of trying to make an ending that is close enough to the original source material that people will believe that it's real, but also bad enough that they will disavow it entirely, which is a very careful line to tread. Too much one direction, and they'll know they've been tricked. Too much the other, and well, they might like the bad ending, which is a problem.
Producer situation, I see. So I'm looking at my playbook, and I have an ability called Silver Tongue. Would, the general public be considered an NPC?
Let's see, when you persuade an NPC with a colorful anecdote, mark exhaustion, and make them reveal something important and relevant about the situation, I think we could theoretically count them as a single NPC. So I'm not sure.
Well,
The general effect of this is to make them tell you something, but actually you want to tell them something.
Yeah, so I guess that wouldn't apply to the situation. Gotcha. Let's see. I think the best role for me would be trick an NPC if, the NPC is the public.
Yeah, I think so, and that would use cunning, which is sort of what I was saying. Is I think that's sort of the default for anyone, right?
Actually, would Roguish Feet could also apply, since I'm making a story that's similar to that but goes off the rails at some point. So Counterfeit could also probably be that. But that's finesse. Achieve your goal. I guess it would just be trick, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think unless someone has a strong argument otherwise, I think that using cunning or rolling trick is probably the default here. It seems to me like that's the goal, right, for all three of these. But
okay, I'm gonna do trick.
All right, let's give it a go. Wow.
Okay, so
maybe
do I
came
want
up
to
with
give
all
away
these-
how I'm gonna? Do I want to give away how I'm gonna swerve the audience and make them hate it?
You can get.
Or should I do that later when we're actually playing through the performance?
Feel free to give a teaser now if you have it. Otherwise, we can have
Milo is just Milo's in his den. There's just parchment all over the walls, pinned there. There's bits of string going here and there to different pieces of parchment, and he's just frantically scribbling away on a scroll. And going, if I do that, they'll lose interest, and that ending's too bad. I can't just be just a dream. It needs to be something I just tear their hearts out. And then he looks up. He's also naked during this scene, by the way. It's shot from the back. It's not showing anything.
Just little ass cheeks.
No, look at the end of his thorax. It's fine. He has a very strict no full nudity clause in his contract. And thinking about
I imagine him. He's writing light Yagami right now.
I'm picturing more who's his name? L. On a stool, writing on there.
Oh, okay.
He's doing the L squat on a stool. Well, the Pepe Sylvia is a good pull too, Lamasha. And he goes, wait a minute, pull their heart out. He stands up, he's looks around bewildered, and then he gets a look in his eye, and then he squats back down and starts feverishly writing. And then 5 minutes later, he comes out fully dressed, and he goes I've got it. All right, put it in the printer, boys. This one's ready to go. And I hand it to Ember.
And to the printer it goes, and to Ember to study the lines and such. And Ember, now it falls to you with the script in hand, and also with the unenviable position of both of your teammates rolling exceedingly well, to make your own roll.
I believe.
Oh,
yes.
As has been the case for the previous two, using cunning and tricking is likely the most straightforward thing to roll here, but if you have any sort of other appeal you would like to make, you are welcome to do so.
Can I appeal having one of my roguish feats as a +1?
Which roguish feat are we thinking?
Acrobatics. I think that she could be an exceptional actor by keeping action in the scenes just by herself by moving in extremely specific ways.
Actually, Milo pokes his head outside of his writing room and goes, "Who's gonna be in this play, by the way? I know Amber's in it. Am I in it? I'm sure Amber can do all of it, but we haven't anyone else."
You don't want to be in it?
I mean, I want to be in. I'm just wondering because I want to know who to play and if I need like 3 people in the scene or Jasper's going to be.
You're the writer. I think you can decide if you want to give yourself a part.
I mean, obviously, I got a part. I've also got a little bit of a score here. He shows a piece of parchment with musical notes on it. But I just want to make sure we got everyone down for who's going to be there.
I mean, I'm no actor, but I can perform with my body. And I wiggle around a little bit. And I stabbing motions.
I think it would be.
Oh, like that. Okay, yeah. I got you for that. Okay, cool. Okay, you got the part, kid. Okay, so it'll be you, right. You, Amber, performing. We'll have to get you a mask. Jasper will be the stagehand, and I'll do a little bit of narrating and score. All right, that's settled. I go back in my cave, my writer's room.
I was gonna say it would be exceedingly funny to me if you put the same 4 people on stage who had wanted posters released a week and a half ago. All the audience shows up is like, huh, they must be famous. I know I've seen them somewhere before. But where?
I poked my head out. You put those advertisements over as our wanted posters, right, Miffy?
Oh yeah.
Okay, good. That's why we had the cutouts in there, so they'll show our faces, but as starring these people, our pseudonyms.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Well, way to go. And I wink, I go, Muffy. I go back in my room.
I hate that.
Well, you didn't write in who you wanted to be, so I had to take liberties.
Fine. I don't actually care. Definitely don't care.
Good.
He unfolded, facing away in an Angie pose. I'm not bothered.
It doesn't bother me a little bit.
I'm not owned.
Okay, so would the acrobatics thing be a possibility, or is that just adding complication?
I think that makes sense. If we're assuming that you're a star of the performance, then we can add a +1 from your acrobatics proficiency there. Or you can roll acrobatics actually instead of tricking people, right? And have that be the roll, right? Like I was trying to get at with Miffy is this is a roll that covers multiple steps, right? We're trying not to get too into the weeds. So if that's what we want to highlight, that's what we will highlight. That's fine with me.
I have better cunning than finesse, and finesse is the roguish feat.
Right. So you can use it as an accent then, like you were proposing, right?
Yeah.
Same way Miffy got a +1, and go for it. I swear, if you guys started last session with getting all misses, and now you get all strong hits, that'd be very funny. Okay, yeah.
It would. I couldn't add the +1 because I clicked wrong, so it's a 8.
It's an 8. All right, so 8 stays in the weak hit category, which is honestly not a bad place to be in because a weak hit is still a hit. That is still a success.
Jasper can't help in this case, right?
Yeah, because an 8 to a 9 won't change it from a weak hit to a strong hit. So,
damn. All right.
Yeah. All right. So
to be fair, last time we hit out with strong hits, we did not follow up well.
Yeah.
So, in this case, all the costumes come together well, and we'll get into the details of the performance once we're making the performance roll live, but suffice to say that your acrobatics do at least partially succeed at drawing everyone's attention and keeping them engaged.
Yes. Good enough.
I think probably the only potential setback comes from the material and time constraints that you're under. Now, I'm not going to put that into Milo's mandibles that it's an ambitious script, but there's a lot of ground to cover in a short period of time, so I'll put one additional setback for the weak part of the hit. But otherwise, you manage to accomplish the main task of you're engaging the audience, right, with everything that you built. And so now, before we get to our final performance roll and deciding which of you gets the fun responsibility of actually being the one to roll it, we're going to take a quick look at our setbacks and what it is that they mean. Now, your performance, it takes a little while to get ready, right? You have to write up the scripts before the marquee can start printing them. Their printing press isn't in town, it's in the neighboring town, so it's going to take a few days to, even with a fast courier, to send over the missives and then to get everything back. So really, we're looking at about 2 weeks or so to start the performance. And now, depending on how you want to look at your setbacks, we have a little drum roll, a little setback tier list at the bottom here. You can see that there's a lot of categories which we can actually just get rid of the top 3 right away because you all rolled relatively well and only have 2 setbacks. Now, setbacks come with a time delay, potentially, right? So if we stay at 2 setbacks, there's a time delay, and each setback category has its own additional mystery consequence. Ooh. So, before you know what the mystery consequences are, you all can decide if you want to address these setbacks. Now, you can address setbacks by putting in extra hours, pushing your limits, paying out of pocket, taking an extra week to prepare. Any of these will either will cause a character to either mark exhaustion, mark injury, mark depletion, in some cases more than one, and you can know how much before you choose to do it. We don't have to make that part a mystery. Or you can, choose to delay the play further, though you can only delay a maximum of, well, actually more times than you have setbacks, so it's fine. So it's up to you guys if you want to address this or if you want to allow the potential for mystery consequences. But right now, if we leave things as they are, you will have 2 mystery consequences and a 1-week delay, bringing the total delay the total time to the performance at 3 weeks.
I mean, what would it take to get that down to 1 setback?
All right, so to get down to 1 setback, you can put in extra hours, so that's marking 2 exhaustion across the 3 of you, right? So not 2 each, just 2 total across the 3 of you. 1 person can do both. 2 of you can do 1. Someone could push past their limits and mark an injury. You could pay out of pocket to expedite some things, whether that's to get some higher quality things pre-made, to add extra incentives to the couriers to get them to move faster, or to get your advertisements displayed prominently. That would be marking 2 depletion and spending 2 value, or just spending an additional 7 value. Or you take an extra week and turn it from 3 weeks of prep time into a month of prep time. That would bring it down.
Can we pay less if we hire children?
I think maybe that's gonna take a while.
For children? To put up posters?
Oh, other people's children. Okay, gotcha. I'm not sure about that.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I mean...
Listen, I can just tighten up this script. I can tighten up this script real good, and once I get it done, I can help Jasper or Amber get more of the production ready. Like, just really get it going.
Sure, but I still think I could hire some children for cheap.
I don't know. Just make sure they're orphans so they can't tell their parents.
Alright.
Okay, so can I mark? I'm willing to mark 2, but if someone wants to split the exhaustion with me, I can do that.
If you make sure they were already orphans, don't kill their parents, please.
Oh yeah, what Amber said.
Oh yes, thank you for clarifying. I was definitely gonna do that.
Okay, that's good enough for the future. Thank you.
Yeah, the thing about Miffy voice is I can't tell if that's sarcasm or not.
No.
Next, Miffy, when you're joking, when you're done joking, can you end with /s?
If I am joking?
Like, so we know when you're being sarcastic.
Oh, okay.
It's really hard to get.
Some people say that is like /SRS, like serious, you know?
I see. Just, sometimes we need a tone indicator for me.
What if I just wink? Wink.
How's your winking going? Let's see.
Like, big squinty eye. Oh, wink! And I can't not say wink. Wink! How's it going?
Okay, as long as it's like we're in on the joke and not like you're sharing a secret sort of thing, okay? Like
Right. No killing orphans or making orphans, right? Wink! I did it right?
I'm not sure. Honestly. Amber, what do you think?
All right, moving on. I would like to give some of my value to hire some orphans.
All right, before we get to the value one, Milo started marking exhaustion. So if Milo marks 1, does anyone want to mark a second one, or is Milo marking 2?
I'll mark exhaustion because Ember has to perform.
Thanks. Sounds good. All right, so the 2 of you mark 1 exhaustion, brings our setbacks down to 1, getting rid of this consequence. And now, if Miffy would like to hire some orphans, that will cost 2.
They can also spread the word.
Right, that will cost 2 depletion and 2 value, or 7 value, your choice.
Wait, 7? What?
2 depletion and 2 value, or 7 value, your choice.
Why are these children so pricey?
Honestly, it's because you need to hire a lot of them to get the quality, to get the return on your investment.
Yeah.
God.
Ember, is it just me,
or
is
You know what? Here, Miffy. If you want to go the pure value route, I'll let you pay 6 instead. Get your savings for hiring the children.
I don't have that much value. I could just do depletion, I guess.
Right, the 2 depletion and the 2 value, and that'll bring our setback to 0.
I
Do
see.
you want some money?
It's fine.
Okay.
Share a sandwich with me later.
Can do.
Now, before we roll the performance team, let me say, great work having absolutely 0 setbacks. If it wasn't clear, I had a variety of consequences after last session convinced me that you weren't capable of rolling well. But this time, I stand corrected. Now let's see if this carries over into the performance itself. Now, for the performance, to be clear, this bonus of +3, that is the only modifier on the performance, right? You're not rolling this +3 plus cunning or +3 plus charm or +3 or anything else. Now, granted, +3 is higher than, and that's basically the max you can get on the stat anyway. So you're in a pretty good spot, even without that. And I also think that for this roll, the difficulty of helping should be a little bit higher because it isn't, it's not one singular action. It's across the whole of the performance. So I think that in order to actually help with this one, I would have whoever doesn't roll it, right? It would need to be everyone who doesn't roll it, and Jasper would need to mark an exhaustion to give the single +1 to move it up an extra 1, right? So that's going to be my pre-placed corollaries on that one. So, with all of that in mind, who would like to be the one making the roll?
I think thematically it would be Ember, right?
What am I rolling?
You will be rolling. Yeah, you're going to be rolling. Let's see. Does this system have a generic
I'm looking.
dice roll?
It should.
I mean,
You know what you
to
can
me,
do? You
it
can just roll
probably
2d6 plus 3,
Yeah.
/r space 2d6 plus 3 in the chat, and that'll give you the number. It won't automatically say weak hit or strong hit or anything like that, but it will get you there.
Okay,
it's... What is the formula again?
/r space 2d6 plus 3.
Ah! I hit something and it refreshed the page.
Oh,
Yeah, that happens sometimes. Ember phases out of existence before she steps on stage. She steps
I'm
back
back!
on, and she rolls.
alright. Wow. Very
Okay.
nicely done. All right, so.
That phase out was clutch.
So with a 12, that's what we call a strong hit for sure. So, the night of the play comes, and our vagabonds, after putting in 2 weeks of their time finding the locale, setting the scene quite literally with their props, putting together the words, and then finally getting ready to perform. Now the advertising has done its work. You have a pretty strong attendance out here by the riverside. There's a large number of people from all across the bend, right? Some marquee officials are in attendance. Some various Erie people are in attendance, including your client, though he's incognito in that, he's not acknowledging you in any particular way, but as a patron of the arts, he would be, it would be odd if he wasn't here at this important performance that everyone's talking about, wouldn't it? You even see... I'm sorry, what was that, Milo?
I'm just imagining he's trench coat in fedora mode. Like a Ninja Turtle.
And so even you find yourself with several company employees in the audience, but they are here primarily for recreation, right? There's no guards coming in to keep an eye on things or anything of the sort. And so this goes to a part of your plan that we haven't focused on. Was the goal to attract Oliver Ogden's attention or not? You all can decide if he is in attendance on a strong hit.
I say he is.
I think so too.
All right.
I thought that was aim, so.
Well, as far as I was aware from last time, the murder was suddenly very optional compared to the reputation. Right. That's why I asked. I feel like it was incidental to the actual preparations, so that's why it didn't come up until now. So even Oliver Ogden is here. Separately speaking, so too are the pigeons, who are cooing amongst themselves excitedly to see what's going to be happening. Though, of course, they're not attending with their employer. They're separately settling into the audience.
I see. Also, real quick, did we advertise this as a play in the series of the Sea Captain?
I would assume so.
Okay, interesting.
Right? Otherwise...
Advertise it as what?
As in the series of the Sea Captain that's getting popularity, the propaganda piece.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
That was the plan, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Milo goes, wait a minute. Hold on, wait. Well, I was writing about that gopher fella, right?
What are you talking about?
Wait, hold on. We gotta change this whole play. Oh God, maybe we should have taken those 2 weeks. LOL, JK.
On a 12, if you do need to change the whole play, the improvisation goes extremely well. Yes, because while Oliver Ogden is in attendance, certainly he seems to be the only one confused about why this performance is going on, right? He's not the sort who would show up to this and not be suspicious why his own IP is being performed by someone he hasn't approved. But the lack of concern from everyone else is a bit concerning to him as he starts to try to figure out what's happening.
Yeah, he catches a glimpse at us and goes, "Oh boy."
Now I assume that by the time he catches a glimpse, we'll be a bit into the performance will be beginning, right? So he'll be settling in, and once the lights, you're outside, so it's not like there's building lights to turn down, but once the focus becomes the stage, you'll have a clear idea. How will he be able to turn the attention that you're cultivating in such a... you have the audience, which includes the other company employees here, all captivated that the lone Captain Ogden will have a little bit of difficulty convincing people to stop paying attention, we'll say.
Mm-hmm.
So,
A little bit.
just a little bit. And so the show begins with Ember, you taking the stage, Milo, you performing the score and narration, and Miffy, you making a cameo when there's a fight sequence here and there. Jasper assists by moving the props or occasionally filling in as an extra as needed as you play out this scene. Now, Milo, earlier it sounded like you had more you wanted to say about your writing. Is there something here that you wanted to share about your message that you're communicating?
So the gist of the story is, it seems like another routine adventure for the sea captain, whatever their name is. Sea captain.
So the captain is actually mainly just called the captain over the course of the... Yeah.
So it seems like a very standard beat. He arrives at a place, he sees it needs help, and it just so happens, like seems to happen in his plays, he meets someone from his past who he may not have ended with the best terms on. And as it goes, the people around him seem to start, like, turning against him. They kind of viewed him as a savior, but seeing his relationship with the person from his past, like, seeing how it's soured, they begin to, like, distrust him and kind of, like, view him from the side. He doesn't seem to be quite like what they were told he was going to be like. They're getting sort of a hero death a little bit. And as it goes on, the big climactic fight is about to begin against, the townsfolk and whatever is oppressing him, the bandits. It turns out, as they look for the captain, he isn't there. He actually seems to have turned on the villagers, on them, and the person has passed. Possibly out of spite, or possibly out of just gain from the bandits, whoever's attacking. And surprisingly, even without the captain, the villagers were able to push them back and send them off, despite the turning from the captain. They push him off, but they also keep the captain. Turns out the person from their past knew he's done this before to them. So they take him and they enact a bit of revenge for his cowardice and betrayal. They strike down upon him and they send him over a cliff, and the scene goes dark a little bit. He appears we make it seem like he's floating in water. And then he sees some heavenly figure approach him. He sees, is this the savior, the angel I was promised for my heroic deeds? And the angel gets close, and it's Miffy dressed in dressed in sort of ethereal whiteness, and says, "No, I am the spirit of vengeance, for you have been but a wretch, and a bitch." That was Miffy going off script a little bit. And goes, "I am your reward." And then they pull out fake knives and chains,
eternal reward.
basically, and just drag them off what appears to be it's a false bottom, under the stage, and that's the way the play ends.
Wow. Now, of course, given that this was a strong success, this message, this portrayal across, will certainly captivate them. I think, in addition to this, and now I don't want the party to necessarily interrupt the story as it's going well for themselves, But during at least one point of the play, Ember, I imagine that you have a scene. Now we just heard a summary from Milo, where your where your performance is particularly attention grabbing, right? Like, what do you picture like Ember's? I don't know, the peak of Ember's performance for being during this play.
Oof. Well, she's probably... Is she the only one? I can't remember. We said yes?
Ember, I guess Jasper could also be there as needed. But probably, it seems like Ember's the star, much like how the pigeons did most of it with just the two of them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There are also bits of like hand puppets and cardboard crowds. We kind of shuffle around.
So I imagine that the peak is like, there's not prologue, but like leading up to it is the discovery that the captain is not actually helping and is actually a problem. And the peak is finding the captain again and everyone going after them. After him. So Ember is trying to remain heroic and be like, I am doing the right thing, and have like that heroic stance and solitude, but is actively being beset upon by like the puppets, the community populace.
Yeah.
And she's got the mask on and she is actively falling under their blows / their pushing, and uses her acrobatics to like make it more extreme.
Also, in the middle of all that, we do let Miffy wreck something.
Yes, I think that is the turning point at which people are like, oh my god. And probably the one that is the most eye-catching is when Miffy appears, because they're like, oh, the townspeople were wrong. This is actually good, and this is going to solve everything. And that's wrong. So Ember has to give very convincing screams of despair and torture, which she can do.
Yes, no doubt there.
Jasper goes, it's been a while since I've heard that.
And you know,
right. Yeah, Ember, you managed to really capture them at that turning point. Once they're invested there, they follow through to the end through Milo's writing. And Miffy, you're there for that very final scene. And this captivation, this ending, right? Like, the message comes across clearly to the entire audience, and it's obvious to Ogden both who you are and what it is you're doing. But I think the indignation he experiences at the audacity of this, and the fact that it's happening in the middle of his territory, right, is what keeps him here until the end of the show, right, rather than going and fetching the guard or anything of the sort. Now, and you can, I think, it's certainly clear to Miffy, who has the time to look at the audience, almost an extra degree clear, a little bit less clear perhaps to Milo, who has a bit more responsibilities. And Ember, you know, you have to perform for everyone and not just him, but I think to all three of you, you can tell how much you're getting under his skin. And no blow is struck more like against him. Like no single line delivered or motion made on stage. And when the play ends and there's the murmurs in the crowd, not of dislike or of, you know, hatred towards the performance, but of the message resonating. For some, this does manifest in like an applause for like a good performance, but for others, this is more of a conversation that happens with them, right? Like you don't get the like, wow, that was a wonderful musical, everyone stands up and applauds, right? You have just sent a wave of consciousness, I suppose, like, you know, like social consciousness rippling through, and people are responding to it in different
just
ways.
Like true art.
What?
It's the existential dread.
Yeah.
They're going to be talking about this for hours after the show at Dion Denny's.
And so,
it is a franchise.
You know, a lot of people are dealing with it in their different ways. And so while you are applauded, and, praised, but you can see the message spreading. Certainly some of the people who come up to the stage as you're taking your bows right away are the pigeons who have nothing but praise for your performance. They make sure to give very specific thoughts on like the different types of moves that Ember performed on some of the lines they found most inspiring. And so the pigeons are giving their feedback as Ogden makes his way out the back of this makeshift theater, right? Like out in nature, back towards his boat with a look on his face like he's getting ready to prepare his countermeasures. And so my question for all of you, but especially for Miffy, is do any of you follow him?
Oh, I thought he was approaching us.
No, he's going back to his ship. He's not going to approach you directly.
No. I follow him. I follow him 100%. I call after him. Hey, Augie! Did you like the performance?
Augie, baby.
Augie, where are you running? Why are you running?
Are you calling out to him while we are still in a crowded area, or are you following him away from the crowds?
No, I'm following away. I think most people are more interested in Ember anyway. So I follow him. Well, I follow him, but I'm not like in his face or anything, right?
Right, I'm just sort of like
mocking him, saying like, "Buck, buck, buck, buck." Where you going?
Damn! Don't do that near the pigeons.
I'm talking about chickens, not pigeons.
I know, but just be careful. We're an animal society.
Yep.
Nah, pigeons are super racist against chickens. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh my god.
All right.
Anyway, you call out to Ogden, who stops and looks over his shoulder. This is probably the most, he's been generally level-headed pretty much every time you've interacted with him in the past, including when you were trying to stab him a couple weeks ago, Miffy. This is probably the most anger you've seen on his face ever. Right? Yeah.
Wow.
He looks over his shoulder. Where am I going? I'm going to start. I have to go start work on undoing all of the harm that you've caused here tonight. Impressive that you were able to even get a performance in the middle of the city. But I'll make sure we don't make that same mistake again in allowing it.
Oh, are you that threatened by our work? Does your message not stand up alone to all the writings that you've poured out?
There's a bit of a scoff. Doesn't matter what message you convey, with enough flair and financing, you'll believe anything. Like, he gestures dismissively towards the crowds, like in the distance.
That's when Milo brings up the mic.
I don't care if I have to kill 1,000 children. I will keep this play going.
Yeah, no, actually, can Jasper do this? Can Jasper do it? He's not busy.
For one, I don't know if there are microphones, and for two, you did specifically say you were following him away from the crowds, so you're now no longer in the crowded area.
All right.
So we're gonna go with a no on this one.
Okay, but what if the Marquis had one of those recordy things I had in my pocket?
That would be a lot of foresight, but I don't think we're on that right now.
Fine.
A little bit too much foresight, I might think. We're not blades in the dark over here.
We get a cartoonist to draw them being owned, and we post it all over town. They can never be in the town again.
Oh my gosh. Does anyone remember Dave the Barbarian?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, yeah, with the making amplification device with the squirrel, a piece of string, and a megaphone.
Yeah. Okay, sorry. Okay, going back into the thing. He says that, like, with enough money and flair, like, oh, I'm sorry. I thought I mistook you for an arts person, not whatever this piece of shit is.
You changed, man. You used to be about the art, man.
Yeah, actually, I'm wondering, is he invested in it, or is it all propaganda to him? Can I figure him out with that?
Yeah, make that roll.
Okay, let's see. Where is that figure? Okay, I see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
All right, so you get 3 questions. So for this first one is like, does he actually care about the idea? Does he actually care about the arts, or does he actually care about, right? Like that's the question.
Yeah.
I think the answer is that he does genuinely like this series because it agrees with him, right?
Oh.
But
Mm-hmm.
in that same sense, though, the series is also sort of, about the thing. It's about the things that he already thinks are true. So of course he likes it. Of course he thinks it has value. But does he find value in art as a whole? You don't get that sense, right? In this specific piece of art, yes, right?
Got it, but just not because in art in general.
Right. He doesn't seem like an art person in general. He seems like he really likes this particular series because it tells him that he's right about the things he already thinks, right?
Got it. Okay. Can I know if it was his complete idea to have the plays in general? Because I feel like art is a weird thing to turn to if you're not already invested in it.
I think from his reaction to your performance, it's hard for you to know 100% for certain. I think the read Miffy gets off of him is that, yes, it was his idea to turn this into the I don't want to call it phenomenon, because like we've said before, it's spreading across the woodland, but it doesn't cover yet the entire woodland, right? Like it's a handful of clearings. It's decently popular, and past that, you'll find a few people who read it here and there, who read it and are interested, right? But like, it's not yet like a permanent mainstay of the woodlands or anything like that. But you get the sense that like he probably saw it when it was small, right? Like when it was just the author writing it, probably in small batches here. He read it, enjoyed it, and wanted it elevated, right?
Okay.
Gotcha. And then I guess my last question, and someone can say if they disagree with me or they want me to ask another question. I don't feel strongly about asking this next question. But does he genuinely believe that if he goes bigger and fancier, it will sway people? Or is he that shaken up by our performance and how it affected people that he thinks that actually might not be enough?
I mean, I'd like to know the answer for that.
Because if he does, if he thinks that it might not actually work, then we might have won here. But if he thinks if I just put more money and more flair into it, then this doesn't even matter. But but does he actually believe that? Did we do enough harm in his eyes?
Well, there's also like, even if he does believe that, that doesn't mean the people will respond in kind to him believing that.
Right. Yeah. So like regardless of what he believes, but I think that if we discouraged him enough, that might work, or we still just kill him. I feel like the answer can lean towards one way or the other.
I was gonna be like, I thought Miffy was gonna be like, can we ask him what like his least favorite way to die would be?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
But it's up to you. Like, I would like to know the answer to the first question, honestly.
Yeah.
I think, Miffy, the impression you get in his eyes behind those tiny little glasses at the end of his, otter snout is that he knows it's more complicated than that. There's much to be said about timing, right? Catching the crest of a wave. There's also a lot to be said about, the way something's conveyed, not just, beyond just the flair, but he knows that there's more factors at play. But there is also an earnest belief that eventually all of these factors can be forged in his favor with the right investments. The doubt here isn't whether or not he can buy his way back to where he was, but if he can, or rather, it isn't if money can buy him back to where he was, it's if he has enough money and if it's worth that investment.
Ooh.
Right?
Okay.
So, like, he believes with enough money and flair, he can undo all the damage here. Does he have enough money and flair, though? Right? Like, that's the problem. Is the timing and the emphasis, like, the time it will take him to strike back, does that impact him to the point where his funds might not go far enough? That's what you see in him.
Ooh.
Got it. Perfect. Okay. Here's the thing about art, Augie, is that it's supposed to challenge you. And if you're challenged by this and how it affected the audience, then I ask you to challenge yourself if what you believed in and the company believes in is actually worth all the money you're putting into it.
The real questions.
I think at that's when he turns away from you again with a bit of a scoff, like a Of course, it's worth it. It has to be.
That's a one-way road, sir. That's a problem.
All right. I'll leave you with that then. But let me just say one last thing. There's plenty of ways to die. Have you ever heard of Death of the Author?
Title drop, end session, boom.
The other part, Miffy, the other part.
You say that.
Close the curtain, close the curtain.
Oh. Close the second curtain.
And in his response, Miffy, there's a bit of a bitterness to it that even though his response is a threat, it feels like it's a threat that, like, he's threatening in a way that he feels is beneath him, right? Like, he's not someone who usually resorts to, like, making, to just making a pithy, unbacked up, like, verbal threat and leaving, right? So, like, he can feel he's not speaking from a place of power in this moment, but you provoke him into doing so anyway. Right?
Too late, I'm running, I'm walking away. I said my cool one-liner.
Heed your own advice there. You're a loose end, Mouse. The company doesn't tolerate those for long.
And you already failed to kill me twice.
You really think she'll fail once she finds you?
Oh.
I'm assuming he's talking about my mentor.
Yes, the third person on your list.
Do I think that she's going to kill me? I don't think that's really a concern of mine. I think you should be the one more concerned.
I suppose we'll find
You
out.
want to know why?
Why is that, Mouse?
Well, you saw me coming the first time. Won't be the second.
He's going to walk away, unless you have anything else you want to taunt him with.
Nope, I said my cool thing. Another cool thing. Goodbye.
All right. He's off. Also, you guys should probably get going shortly after this because he's almost certainly telling the guards that the wanted people are in the middle of a performance. You know.
Yeah.
He's certainly going to mention that on his way back to his.
How long is the autograph line after he leaves? Because I want to sign everyone's, but if we need to go, we need to go.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to have time to stay for everyone, because you guys rolled a strong hit on your performance. That means you got a lot of attendees, and you got a lot of them really into it. So, unfortunately, you might just have to cut it a little short. If you're really daring, you wait until you start seeing the guards crest the edge of this town and hop on your boat. Like, and that's it. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else.
Oh, yeah. Go.
Also, Milo, quick question. Should we give the script to the pigeons? Or do you want to keep the notes?
Are they like hanging around, kind of taking in the ambiance? Okay, I'll say after, like, when they come up to like congratulate us or whatever, we slip them a piece of paper to like where to meet us, like a meetup spot.
Oh,
like
okay.
talk.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good.
Yeah!
You can talk to them later. Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. It is done. And then you scurry away, probably to the marquee side of the bend, hopefully before the guards notice you making that little trip. And that's that, right? Unless you have anything else you all want to do?
I think that's good. We take everything that like isn't vitally important. We leave all the props and stuff there, and we head back to Murky Town.
I do want to know what the bird that hired us thinks, though.
Oh yeah, I think given the yeah. That's a good point. I forgot about him in attendance. I think you would all be able to tell he's quite pleased with the result, especially because, you know, you didn't, the way Milo described it all, it didn't sound like you were, you know, you didn't end up going the talk up the marquee route in any particular way, right? It was mostly just a company takedown sort of deal, and he was
Diss track, yeah.
He was a fan. There probably was a point around like that pivot where Ember was capturing the audience, and depending on the lighting and all, whether or not any individual one of you would have been able to see, where he's looking at the performance, like brought in himself, but then like shakes himself out of it to look at everyone else, right? And when he looks at everyone else, there's like a wry smile of it's working, and then he lets himself be taken back into the performance, right? Like, you know, he likes the arts too. Don't, you know, he actually does like the arts, unlike Ogden, who is mainly using it for
evil.
Yeah, for evil. Not to say this guy also wouldn't use it for evil, which was the impression you got last time.
He would. But he would make it for like super villain evil, you know?
Yes, he would be super villain evil. That's for sure.
Like he would have the theater like situated with exploding chairs or something like that. That evil.
And a chandelier.
All right.
Well, I think that's a good place to take our break, because we are almost exactly 90 minutes into it, and at the end of that scene, good work, team. Good set of rolls this morning. Certainly made up for the poor set of rolls last time.
And certainly at the later half of this, there will be no bad rolls as well.
Yeah.
Our notoriety gave us the push we needed.
Yeah. It was make or break time, and we made.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of notoriety, well, you know what? We can deal with reputation changes once we get back. How about that? Why don't we do that?
Yeah. Okay.
So
take a 5.
We're gonna take a 5-minute break, and we'll be back shortly. All right, and we are back from our break and back from the tension of that performance. Now, I don't want to say that there's no tension at all, because, you know, almost certainly the guard patrols for you all will be renewed, at least to the place where they were a few weeks ago, if not stronger, now that, you know, there was the first breaking and entering, and now illegal performances that are going against the company, you know, the company line, right?
You can't stop art, man.
One of the worst crimes of all, copyright infringement.
Oh, well, that.
You know, so with all of these, issues, certainly Velox's Bend is going to be quite hostile to you in the near future, if it's not already, or at least the authorities are. We'll say.
Yeah. That should make the more they try to witch hunt us, the more that the crowd loves it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, like a Robin Hood situation.
Yeah, we should get denizen points.
You know what we did? You know we did say that we would deal with reputation when we got back. So yeah, let's deal with some reputation here. Let's give you all a minus for the company for obvious reasons. Take one of those boxes.
Let's see here.
And I believe if you reach the next box, that's when you reset and move your circle. So Miffy, you have reached the -2 on your company.
Hooray!
Oh my god.
You can move your red circle over by clicking, and then you reset all the boxes all the way back down.
Yep.
Wow.
All the way back down to there. There we go.
Wow.
Wow.
And I think that call to gain a plus with the denizens is correct, because you built up you tore down the company and sort of built up average townsfolk, right? And the way that that story came across in the performance. So I think it would make sense to give a wow. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
it makes sense.
wait a minute, hold on.
Mark,
I have my unassuming hat, which has signature. So does that mean I have 2?
signature. Let me remind myself. I do believe that adjusts. That does adjust. I neglected to open the book, so give me one moment.
Also, the tag in the system for it does not say, so I can't just read it off there.
This is something that was built by one person and is not an official system.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't
We
have
do thanking for it.
quite everything.
Pretty dang good for one person.
Yeah, this is really good. Although, funnily enough, like last week, they released an official RootRPG system for this.
Nice.
But at this point, I didn't want to migrate everything and have to remake everyone's character sheets and all that. So,
Yeah.
But if we ever were to do one again, it would,
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
I mean, I've already thought of
signature.
at least one character for it, so.
Signature. Whenever you earn prestige or notoriety while showing this item, mark 1 additional prestige or notoriety. So yeah, that means you got -2 to the company.
Was I
plus 2
wearing
to
it? I mean, it's a new item, so you know what? I'll say it was, so there we go. I now have +1 for the denizens.
All right. Very nice. And Miffy, didn't you have something that modifies stuff, or was that only when
That's
you
if
do a
I'm wearing
specific
my
thing?
mask. I don't think I wore my mask for the play.
No, yeah, because your mask is not literally a mask; it's flipping your coat inside out, right?
Yeah, and I didn't do that for the
For
play.
the play. All right, so yeah, you don't need to modify anything there. But
I'm just backstage,
Mm-hmm.
Except for that one scene with the knives at the end, or and the chains and all that.
The could
Right,
have
right.
been wearing a mask, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Anyway.
my mask is my item, my playbook move is my jacket, but did I have an actual mask? Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
Is Miffy wearing the mask when they talk to us? Like
Oh, the emotional
persona
mask.
wise? Yeah. They don't want us to get close. They put up
No.
this front of depravity and sanity, but
No,
maybe
it's
deep down they're just a scared little mouse trying to
no,
survive in the
no.
world. Okay.
No.
All right.
Miffy wears her heart on her sleeve, stained with blood.
At least someone's hard on her sleeve.
All right. Well, with mission complete, the 4 of you, Jasper included, arrive back at Marquis territory, where you are politely informed that they recommend that you skip town after you leave here because, well, they don't want to risk you continuously being seen as or coming here and have.
Yeah, we're done with this
Okay.
place.
Yeah.
What?
Time to go.
Do we say goodbye to Belle and all the
Yeah, I was
other
going to say,
people who
Belle
helped us?
did offer you a task when time to
Oh.
leave came, if you all want it, but you did not get details at that time of what it was.
Yeah, we also we did give the doves some details of meetup. I guess that might have to wait.
Yeah, you could also theoretically grab all your stuff hire a boat,
Leave
try to meet up with the
instructions, yeah.
doves and potentially with the other bird to make your way out. On your way
Okay,
out.
so are we like screen it? It's like, hey, if you have anything to give to us, send it to the marquee and they'll send it to us or something like that.
I think probably wouldn't want to tell an Erie guy to send stuff to the marquee because they probably wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, we can probably get Jasper, right?
Yes, that's true. You could probably get Jasper to go. Jasper is also wanted, but you could get him to go.
Yeah, or
he can,
not as much. Is he?
As much as
like
you
that
guys,
slap on the
probably
wrist.
not, but still also yes.
What's his reputation track looking like?
Probably is at between these two incidents, probably at a minus. Actually, you know what?
Yeah.
Maybe it was positive and then fell to 0. But we have to account for localized patterns here because that's faction wise. The town still he's not particularly popular here.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, like maybe he did have a positive at one point, but it's been reduced.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I mean, he did get himself in the initial bad space himself, so it's not just because of you guys. So he could run to the Erie to pick up your guys' stuff from there if you don't want to talk to that particular character. Do you want to talk to Belle first or the pigeons first?
Let's talk to. I'm gonna say we talk to Belle. That'll get us out of the Erie, and then as we're leaving town, we talk to the pigeons.
All right, sounds good. So, Belle would meet up with all of you and would say, I heard that you have put on quite a performance in the band, and that you've gathered a lot more attention once again. And to think you are just starting to regain some inconspicuousness after your actions a few weeks ago, but it seems, well, your faces are certainly going to be well known to any company mercenary in town for a long time at this point.
I see.
Yay.
We know when to fly the coop.
I'm sure you'll be able to return here someday. It's not like you murdered anyone.
Right.
Of course not.
It's a good thing you told me the guy's not to kill those children's parents and make them orphans.
So, Belle, how often does the Marquis and the company discuss things on neutral terms? Just like company to company. Because I was wondering if you've heard any here to say about Captain Oliver Ogden, perhaps where he's gone to.
I do not have any updated information on him. I would assume him to still be in town. And at least last I heard, as I've mentioned to you before, we do keep a bit of an eye on him because we believe he is dealing with the Erie, though on what we're not entirely sure. As for other dealings, I believe I promised you that we would have something to offer if you were looking for work. Due to the nature of this particular assignment, however, we would request your agreement before you are given a full summary. We're able to tell you where it would be, but if we were to fill you in on all of the details, they're sensitive.
As long as it's not here.
It is not. Keeps
us out of doors and off the bend. I think we can be accommodated. Where's it at?
It is at Featherflight, which is also where that other captain you asked us about is. And in fact, we believe she may be involved in the matter.
Ooh.
There's some big decisions being made between the company and the Erie. And the Marquis is very interested in finding out the details. Now, of course, we know more than just that. We believe these deals are involving, well, military movements. We think the Eyrie is getting ready to strike again. Their success at Ironroot, as costly as it was for them, has given them the initiative, and I admit we are still on the defensive. We're still rebuilding. If they were to mount another large-scale attack, we may be able to fend them off, assuming we're able to direct our defenses appropriately. We noticed such conversations between the company and between the Eyrie shortly before the attack at the Ironroot, though we did not understand at the time what it was they were forecasting. And so we would ask you to go to Featherflight, find out what this Captain Castor is discussing with the company with as many details as you can. If time allows, then you need only relay those details to us. But if time does not allow, we are asking you to interfere in whatever manner gives us time to respond.
Well, I know I'm certainly interested. It seems that my mentor is involved with something very suspicious, and I'd like to give her a talk.
Team huddle.
Team huddle.
Team huddle. All right. Now let's put us in line with some of our goals, but do we want to help the Marquis military?
We were literally just trying to subvert them like 4 sessions ago.
Yeah, but that was for the people. Now this is against the company. It's different.
Also, she already said that the Marquis is in a defensive position right now. We wouldn't necessarily be giving them, more space to move forward. Just making sure that the Eyrie and the Marquis keep their eyes on each other.
True. And assuming they want a solid answer and not just something wishy-washy.
Oh, we can go and interfere, I think. I don't think that'd be an issue.
We can throw maybe a wrench into our plans, a little mouse-shaped wrench, but I don't know if we can fully commit to that.
You don't think Miffy will commit to chaos?
Oh, she could commit a lot of things, but...
What? I don't understand. Listen, if it's about killing this particular person, I'm all for it.
Ow.
After all, she's one of the major people that stabbed me.
Do you still have scars?
Oh yeah, look, she literally stabbed my back. Here.
Eve, I always wondered.
Oh my god, Miffy!
Yeah, that's pretty horrible.
Oh my... That's like your entire length of your back. Dude, what did she stab you with?
Oh, I'm sorry. Perhaps it's too graphic. I'll put it away.
Does it hurt still?
I mean, it's healed pretty nicely, but god, it's long.
Mostly it hurts in my heart.
That's fair.
Oh, that's deep too, my god. Well, that'll get us closer to the company and stomping out some of the ill actors. But do we want to give the word to the Marquis we're doing this?
The Marquis is going to get us in.
I suppose.
I mean, listen, the Marquis kind of done a lot for us right now. Now, I'm not saying we owe them, but I am saying they're a little bit lesser of two evils here.
I suppose.
Lesser of two evils, lesser of three evils?
4, perhaps, maybe.
At least. Yeah.
Yeah, the Marquis, the Erie, the Riverfolk, the DM.
Yeah, who's
right.
the least evil, the Marquis or the DM?
The dice.
Oh yeah, the dice for sure are the most evil.
Absolutely.
They were pretty kind to you today.
That's true. But they're
God.
fickle. They're fickle.
Okay, yeah, we don't blow on them as much as we should. All right. Well, I guess we're going with the Marquis. All right, team, break.
Brick.
Brick. Yep. All right. I think we're interested in this job. Now, looking at my map here, it appears the river might be the quickest way down to Featherflight after we take a little bit of a detour.
Yeah, sorry, I'm moving us back to the map to show it. Yes, the river would be the quickest way, and we can certainly pay someone to move you. Attempting to do so inconspicuously, though, as we have been discussing, you have not exactly made yourselves scarce. In fact, the opposite. I would not be surprised if the company starts searching boats heading in and out of town. That's an issue that would plague you regardless of if you are heading to the Hopper's Crossing or if you are heading to Featherflight by the river. But it would be the fastest way to Featherflight, and as I said, we can help cover the costs there. Alternatively, you could take the road up through Ashenborough, down through the Hopper's Crossing, and then over to Featherflight. That would, of course, take time. By the time you arrive there, you'll be nearing the mid of winter. So, it'll certainly be a chilly path. And Ashenborough is surrounded by... Well, the lands there are unruly. The clearing there is struggling, and the people make their ends meet however they can. Or,
I see.
I heard that the pickup point that you gave us for that for all of those materials was out in the woods themselves. If you are capable of crossing them, you could cut through the woods, avoid the company, avoid the roads and the bandits, but who knows what you will find instead. And I'm sure that's more direct, but certainly not as fast as taking a boat.
Amber, you're kind of sick of boats. Do you want to brave the woods again?
It would be nice.
What's the chance of running into a second bear?
Just, if we have to take the river, I need medicine to go with us.
And again, to be clear, just to summarize, you do have the 3 approaches, right? By boat, fastest, but worry about the company. By forest, middle length, but who knows what you'll find. Or by road, which is the longest, but the safest. So,
yeah.
I mean,
Let's not take the river. Either we go the long way or the short and dangerous.
Yeah, I said, maybe we'll get out of town and just head to the old camping spot, I say, winking at Miffy and Ember.
All right, wink.
A good plan.
All right, you can just give us a small amount of funds and a way out of town to the southeast. I think we should be fine to get to Featherfly on our own.
All right, very good. Well, in that case, you are looking for... Once you get there, we do have an agent there who will be able to appraise you of the situation on the ground. This agent is working at... Where did I put this? Where did the GM put this? She goes through her notes.
I was gonna say.
There we go. Our contact is working in the port in the port part of Featherflight, at a place called the Thorned Thicket, a storage and security service. Tell them
Sounds
that
nice.
you're... Sorry, what was that, Ember?
Yes. She just said it sounds nice.
That sounds nice.
Yeah. Like, say that you're there to inspect the Galea fruit preserves, and when they ask which fruit, tell them crabapple. Our agent will find you at the storage site and fill you in from there. If you can complete this operation without your identities being compromised or your association to the Marquis discovered, we are prepared to reward you significantly for this task, specifically with property in Great Wood's End and the funds to furnish it as you like.
Ooh, property. Homeowner. In this economy.
I know, Miffy, it seems impossible, but here it is, right at our feet. Well, if only we have to reach down to grab it.
Of course, if that is not agreeable to you, though I am inspired by your response, we can negotiate something else based on the degree of your success and the nature of the information that you return to us, and the significance of any intervention taken on our behalf. But you've worked for us before, so we are trusting you with this task. We ask you to trust that your effort will be rewarded in turn, and if you feel there is a moment where you could go above what we have asked you to serve the Marquis' interests, that you will take it knowing that you will be rewarded for it upon your return.
Putting a lot of trust in us.
Well, when it comes to Featherflight or other places within Eyrie territory, we are limited in who we can trust. You proved yourselves, and so we must take some risks if we are to maintain our foothold here in the woodlands.
Yeah, I think we've done pretty well so far.
I see. Well, thank you kindly for your word and your trust in us. Just a doggy or something. If we happen to get this job done or any other noteworthy work, do you think you can get me one of them? What are they called? Cyclers? Those little two wheel cart thingies I've been seeing around. I'm describing a bicycle.
Yeah.
Like I'm describing like basically a penny farthing bicycle that I'm assuming the Marquis has.
Yeah, that sounds like
papers
something
one
they
up.
would be able to have for you.
But but maybe like a little like clockwork one.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Maybe if I get one. If I can get one of those to help me ride the roadways, I think that'd be dandy. Just, I'm not saying you gotta get me one, but just keep that in mind.
Very well. I will make sure to include that in the notes, that if you... to have one waiting just in case you do exceed our expectations.
Yeah.
Thank you for, what's the word I'm looking for? Oh my god.
I don't think this is related to necessarily this person right here, but I do want to follow up on my request for like a poison ring or a dart ring. I think I mentioned it. I think we mentioned maybe the Marquis could create something like that.
Yeah. You mention it. You mention it to Belle. I think we'll say that last time. I think you may have mentioned it. Where did I put this? I think when you describe it, right? She'll say covert weaponry like that is something that the Marquis does have a small amount of. While I am not at liberty to provide it to you now, before the task is underway, our agent in Featherflight, if she chooses, could share something of her own with you. I think you will not be disappointed in what she has to offer. So, yes, you can get a loaner, but once you're in town, and make contact with their agent.
All right.
Because technically, between that time and now, you haven't actually done any additional work for them, right? You know?
Yeah.
But getting a loaner while you're on the job, that's a little bit more.
Relevant.
And it's incentive for you to show up at the job.
Yep.
All right, fair enough.
All right. So.
What about you, Ember?
What about me?
Oh yeah.
You want something? Come on, treat yourself.
I think I'm doing pretty good right now.
Okay, we'll put you down for some
fancy
land then.
clothes or something?
Some what?
Fancy clothes.
I thought I already had. Oh, I did have some, and then I had to get rid of them. I mean, if they have something for me there to help me blend in, I wouldn't say no.
Yes, certainly. I'm sure you have things that you can use to blend, though perhaps fancy may not be what you will get.
There.
Right?
I understand. Ember holding on to her money.
Oh, yeah, and actually, Miffy, you know Featherflight pretty well, don't you?
I'm from there, aren't I?
Yes, you are. So,
Ooh.
this is the town,
Yeah,
Miffy.
we're going on my home turf.
It is the town where you grew up, and the town where you were stabbed in the back.
Ooh.
Town think I'm dead.
I would assume most people think you're dead, unless you went out of your way at some point to inform them on the down low.
No, no, I don't think I got the opportunity.
Yeah. So. But alright, let me just make some quick notes here about Milo's clockwork bicycle request. Alright. So, oh yeah, before we head out, two things. One, Jasper will return, and I think he will hand to each of you part of the reward for the exceptional performance from the what was the Lesser Lord's name again? Lesser Lord. Oh, Least Lord. Oh, he wasn't even lesser. He was least.
Damn.
Man, that's unfortunate. Least Lord Adrius Charadri would pass you back a small pouch full of a variety of valuables, not just modern day Erie coinage that you can use, as well as a few nice little tokens, which based on your performance, I think he probably would have been inspired and entrusted each of you with something like, they're more for value, like, they're nice things, but they're not like mechanical things. But like to Ember, the star performer, perhaps like either a scarf or like some other like fine length of cloth to like drape over you. Milo, similarly for you probably would get like either like a nice little hat or something similar to that.
I already have a hat.
Miffy, for your role showing up at the end purely as a... Yeah, like I said, these aren't mechanical new things. They're just like nice little extra little bits that
nice, a nice thing. Okay,
they're things that you could potentially sell for money, but that are themed loosely around, the performance or your characters. And Miffy probably gets like a nice knife that's not for stabbing; it's for for show, right? A ceremonial knife that's probably not like too ancient or rare, but still of nice quality. I think all of these would, for each of you, be worth, in sum, about 5 value. Just like throw that on on your character sheets.
All right, I'll just put it into value then.
Yeah, that's sort of what I'm getting at. It's like the exact objects are more for fluff, but you get
Gotcha. Okay.
some.
How much is it?
Sorry,
5
I'm not
each.
sure. I have a question. For when we're filling this out, do we change that in starting value or carrying value?
Oh, is there a carrying value?
I think that's just
Yeah.
load.
No, that's
Oh,
that's
that's
not
carrying
carrying
load?
value. That's load.
Okay, so I've only been doing
Starting
value.
value.
Yeah, just put it there for now.
I couldn't catch you last time. How much value was it?
5.
Five, so
per
that'll give me
5
a sec.
per. So,
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
and certainly Jasper probably also got a cut of that as well. You know.
Oh yeah.
So.
Does he though? Yeah, he does.
Yeah, he was the one who went and picked it up. So if he didn't, he did. You know.
Yep.
As he should. Give himself a little 20% tip.
All right. And so you wanted to talk to the pigeons before you all left, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I'll also tell Jasper, if you see Mom, tell her I was in a play. And I did amazingly.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you tell him that, and he's like, "Ugh, it's been a while since I've been home, and I think I need to stay out of where the company has eyes for a little bit." So,
Yeah, probably.
not a bad idea. Yeah, fine. I'll tell him all about your big performance.
Yes. And of course, how you helped.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And behind that is a, and I will not tell them how I got myself in trouble.
That's just
This is
assumed every
private.
time.
Oh, here's a flyer.
Oh, yes. I'm sure that would be a good souvenir. You'll take that. Well, don't get yourself into trouble, since I'll be across the woodland and not able to pay you back, so...
Yeah, gonna have to keep an eye out.
Yeah, I don't know if any of us are all the way up in Featherflight, so... yeah. Be safe. Or if you get caught for something lesser than you're actually doing. I think with that well-wish in his own way, he'll leave you all to go talk, and you'll go talk to your to the pigeons.
Up to me, I'm sorry.
Our pigeons.
Anyway, I just told Jasper to be safe because I can't bail him out.
Yeah, it's basically what he says back to you, right? Like, you know, we're gonna be apart. You know, don't mess it up. Don't mess it up.
Yep.
Make it work.
Yep. And with that, that's probably like a family parting at that. You know, like it's like, well, who
makes
knows
sense.
if you'll have someone to back you up next time? So do it right, and then you all move on. So, yeah, the pigeons you meet up with, I assume somewhere on the edge of town, if not just outside of it.
Yeah.
They. I don't know. What was it you wanted to speak on to them?
Just, well, I hope we made you proud out there.
Certainly. I think we think that you all did an amazing job.
Well, you know, we just wanted to try and make something at least half as good as what you guys do, and it's very proud to have done that.
Half as good, the other would say. I think you've succeeded. Exceeded, even.
Oh,
After all, for as much
shucks.
as we want to write our own works, and we've even trialed them here and there, none have had the reception that yours did. Which the other would add, though I suppose to be fair, you were working off of another's, but you did do a wonderful job at capturing their work.
Well, you know, just to look at it enough, you lock yourself in a room for like 3 days and kind of just pour yourself over it and maybe eat a couple pamphlets of it, you begin to realize the style of it, and soon you can just kind of gauge the feel of it.
I think you're giving yourself too little credit there.
I think it's just a truth that fan art does better than original work.
Miffy just from the side.
Miffy, don't say that. We
And
need
that's
to sell
not
these.
meta at all.
Miffy, we don't want to give the brute severed payback fanfic writers any more egos than they already have.
Can you imagine?
Oh man.
Yeah. Well, I think, as understandable as it will be that your presence in Velox's Bend must come to an end, I do think the arts here will suffer for the lack of you all. So we'll do our best to carry on in your place.
Well, if you meet others who want to get into the stage and writing word, you be sure to nurture them as well. Show them, encourage them.
You were very inspiring.
And, just if you missed our performance, you just want to go back and check it out, I got you a little something. And I give them the script version that was made on printing press, and I hand it to them. If you need a little inspiration or even take a couple lines out of there, don't be afraid to do so.
Little practice.
If you want to run it yourself, well, maybe not right now, but maybe an anniversary special. Go on ahead.
Give it a little time.
Running it right now in Velox's Bend would be unfortunate timing.
I don't know. I heard Milltown's needs a little bit of kick in the pants when it comes to the theater arts.
Suppose I don't know if there'll be much work for us in the near future. What with the reputational hit you've dealt to the performance that we typically put on. Maybe it wouldn't be a bad idea to travel a little.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I've done. And look how I've come out. Get close up to Milo and hyper-realistic bug rendering.
Thumbs up.
Ember, were you starting to say something else earlier, or I heard you say inspiring? I don't know if that was all of it, but were you starting to say something else as well?
I was just saying it's an option. It's not bad to have options.
Well, we both very much appreciate this gift and will value it whether we perform it or simply keep it as inspiration. Well, thank you. Thank you for the performance and for the conversation.
Thank you.
I think probably as if things go quiet for a moment, one of them would sort of nudge towards Ember quietly and just be like, "How angry was your brother?"
He spent about a week recovering, so he is headed south. So
should we head north then and avoid any uncomfortable reunions? The other one might be like, but that's company territory, and they certainly will hear of this before long. But the denizens there are the ones who most need to hear its message, wouldn't you say? And they have this little debate. I don't know if I know Milo just mentioned Milltown, so that is on their mind, but if any of you have any specific spots you want to influence them towards, feel free to do so.
I have no thoughts.
No thoughts?
Yeah, not particularly.
Yeah, sounds good.
I mean,
Empty, nice scarf.
yeah. Suppose the way we came isn't the most kind to feathered folk, but if you go on to Dion's Den, be sure to see an old lark out by a tree at the edge of town. Sure, he'll get a kick out of you.
Oh, he would.
Well, if we find ourselves at Dion's Den, we'll do exactly that.
Also, go to Dion's Denny's. It's worth it. I know fights break out there all the time, but you just gotta keep your head down. They won't bother you.
Great mushrooms.
There's a judgmental ellipses, but then a nod. Alright, with that passed, anything else from the pigeons or to the pigeons?
I think that's it, right?
I'm good.
Alright. Then it is time for travel. Alright, let me do a couple things here. First, gotta change the background music. Second, gotta advance the calendar, find out what day it is so I know what weather it's like. So it took you about 2 weeks to put on that show, since we got no extra delays. Let me put on the night of the performance and make that so everyone can see it. That was as winter's chill began to cross the woodlands, and by going on foot, are you planning on taking this this path here? Is that what you were planning?
Yeah, like through Palatown, maybe starting here, camping for the night at Pallet Crown, and then going to Feather Flight.
That's definitely a wrap. We got it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, alright. So after the amended travel times, that will see you arriving just as the coldest parts of winter are beginning, as you arrive 3 weeks later. So you're going to be spending much of the winter on the road, which certainly won't be the most comfortable of travel. And actually, this is your arrival, assuming nothing goes wrong and delays you.
Yeah.
So let's... I'll put it on here for now. So if everything goes well, you'll arrive on the first of winter's crest, the deepest part of the cold here in the woodlands. But let's take a look at that travel move. I believe last time you're gonna get a bonus for traveling along these roads, since you are using them. Let me take a look.
We have a map.
We do.
Oh, yeah. So, with the map, we are... We can either... Let me look to see if we're still traveling through the forest or if we're traveling along the path. I think what we could do is I will let you guys decide which one you want to do, if you want to travel along the path or along the forest. And the reason why I'm letting you decide is because traveling through the forest could theoretically help, restore depletion, right? Whereas traveling along the path could help restore exhaustion, right? So depending on what it is you want to mend, though I don't think you guys are particularly... You rolled pretty well, so I don't think you have too much in terms of harm marked.
Yeah, I've got one exhaustion and that's it.
They
I've also got an
differ...
exhaustion.
Sorry, Miffy was also saying one exhaustion, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so treating it as a traveling along the path, if you were to take just a straight roll, you could clear your exhaustion, mark a depletion, and just roll with a +0. If you'd like, you could also forage through the forest, clearing depletion, or otherwise, look at your list, right? You have it all on the moves. There's basically six things you can do. The main difference between the two will be what you recover if you pick the one that you want to recover, or what you may encounter. So like traveling through the forest, you get a bonus landmark, but there is higher risks. Whereas traveling along the path, lower risks, but no bonus landmark. So take a moment, decide which approach you all would like to take.
I mean, I do have tambourine. It's part of my tools of the trade, and it does have pleasant. When you perform for your band while traveling along a path, mark where to clear up to 2 additional exhaustion from each vagabond. So we could, in theory, move like urgent fast and just go for it. But I think just doing the +0 to the roll would be fine.
I do not object.
Yeah, same here. I don't have strong inklings in either direction, as I am pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So then it sounds like along the path with a +0.
Yeah.
All right. Along the path with a +0 means clear to exhaustion. Everyone marks 1 depletion. So everyone clear up to 2 exhaustion and mark 1 depletion.
Okay.
And then
Right.
whoever wants to be the one to roll it.
Wait, did I refill depletion when we were with the cats after I paid the orphans?
No, you
You
didn't
should've.
refill.
Oh man. All right. So how much depletion? 1?
You mark 1, and you
All
clear
right.
exhaustion. And then whoever wants to be the one to roll may click on travel along the
dang.
path, and then it's a +0, so just a straight roll.
Does anyone in particular want to do it?
You can do it.
Okay. Here we go.
Waiting for it.
It's coming. Gotta make sure everyone guys are road trip stacks.
Mm-hmm.
Who is rolling?
Hello? Team?
Hello?
Hello? Nova?
Wait, what?
Are you gonna roll?
Did you?
Oh no, I said you can roll.
Oh, okay. Okay, I'll roll.
No, I said you can roll.
I'm just imagining, okay, let's go. And we're all just standing waiting for someone to take the lead. Any second now, we're gonna get going. I wish there were cars so we just draw ourselves like all in the back seat, like, okay, we start going. All right, +0, okay.
All right.
Nice.
Weak hit. You reach the next clearing in a timely fashion, but you encounter something noteworthy on the path.
Ooh.
A caravan, battleground, or something else odd passing through.
Ooh, nice. An incident.
Let's grab all of you.
Shoop.
Yep.
Whee!
Yeah,
Blue's good too. I can go too.
Yeah, we spend a week or so heading towards Pallet Crown, and you rest there while the first snowfall of the season, not quite, but dusts, we'll say, this old ruined town. And you proceed further along through this forest path, once or twice intersecting with a modern road, but otherwise avoiding it to keep away from any company movements or eerie patrols. Not that you have a huge enemy base in the Eyrie right now, I don't believe. Just avoiding any potential conflicts. When you do find the aftermath of a conflict as you near Featherflight, out in the woods, there's there's a recent campsite. The snow has begun to cover a lot of the signs of damage, and it's also slowed the smell of decay. But this campsite was once a campsite of what looks like a bunch of rabbits, right? Like, it's a very rudimentary settlement. Well-armed rabbits nonetheless. But violence has cut through here, and the corpses of these hares are piled high in one corner of the former encampment. And from the signs of it, you can see like some scattered Eyrie like armor plates as well. It looks like the Eyrie came here and cleared out what might be considered a bandit camp in the past, like relatively recently, like within the past week, maybe week and a half, right? And yeah, they left the rabbit bodies where they not where they lay, they piled them up, but like left them off to one side, whereas any Eyrie corpses seem to have been taken with them once they were done with their work. But not everything is peaceful, even this deep within Eerie territory.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Damn.
Yeah.
The most somber thing we've seen the whole campaign.
Yeah. Pretty somber episode. Honestly.
I mean, aside from the drowning in the prison.
Yeah.
But we caused that, so it's different.
Right.
Yeah, we were actively involved, so it's okay.
Yeah, and Arrow, rest Arrow's soul.
Oh yeah.
No, Arrow's alive. I believe it.
Arrow's alive and definitely doesn't have a single grudge.
Cyber Arrow.
We didn't see the body, and you know how much Mordio likes Final Fantasy 14.
Yeah, we're gonna have a zombie Arrow or a Cyber Arrow show up.
Oh, it's water time.
Oh, we've got
Hydrate.
water time.
Hydrate.
Water.
Because the drowning was mentioned, is that why? Is that why?
You're sick.
And I do think it is easy.
You're dehydrated.
I think it is also perhaps easy for us, the players, to forget given the cadence of the campaign so far. But this woodland is also still at war, right? There's a brief lull in the fighting due to a Pyrrhic victory on behalf of the Eerie. But violence here is the norm still, and has been for decades. And though you've experienced a brief calm in it, sites like this battlefield are, well, they've been more common than they have been the last few months, but they're sure to be common again, so long as the Marquis and Eerie continue to vie over control of the woodlands.
And just a reminder, the company loves perpetual fighting.
Yes,
Because that's how profit is made.
It's true.
Yeah. True.
After all, you saw them riling up the folks of Dion's Den in hopes of gaining further profit. You saw them being employed in Ironroot to supplement the Eerie's, the Eerie's weakened military. Certainly, the company would love it if the two factions weaken each other to the point that both have no choice but to rely on the company's services. But with this reflection done, we will arrive at Featherflight's docks. Oh, you know what? I uploaded the Featherflight in autumn when I should have uploaded it in winter. So that's, we're gonna call that a me problem for not thinking ahead of how long this would take. Let me see.
Just color shift all the leaves and stuff to white.
Well, let me see.
Oh my god.
If you give me 60 seconds, I think I can get the winter one out.
Ember's gonna use a winter coat.
Oh yes, that's a
so
great
cute.
idea. Describe your winter clothing while I am bringing up the image.
I bet I should get, if it's snowing, I should get a +1 to disguise to stealth if I'm wearing my white coat.
You know, it's very reasonable, and we will discuss that when or if it comes up.
Milo.
That's pretty iffy when you're talking about Miffy.
Milo is wearing just like the heaviest coat imaginable. That is not fur, and like you can't even see. The only thing you can see of him is his eyes. He's wrapped up very tightly.
I love it. I love it.
Ember's for natural. Sorry.
Milo basically looks like a Jawa from Star Wars.
Beautiful. And you can probably barely hear him.
Yeah.
Ember's fur coat has poofed up because it is thicker during the winter, so she looks chubbier. And it's just all fluff.
Oh.
All
That
fluff.
sounds adorable.
I'm imagining like the fox version of a Minccino.
The Pokemon?
Yeah. Is it Minccino or is it Chinchino?
I think it's
don't.
with an M. It's with an M, yeah.
No, Chinchino is the evolved one.
Yeah. Well, I guess it depends then who you're talking about.
Talking about like this.
Oh, but I mean, it's pre-evolution is pretty fuzzy too. But yeah.
Yeah, but like they're like that's Ember in not winter, and winter is like this, like fur on fur on fur.
I don't know if Miffy looks any different. Maybe slightly poofy. I don't know if mice have winter. I don't think they do.
Miffy
No, I
somehow looks like a tanned mouse, which is weird.
A what mouse?
The mouse hold pre-evolution.
Oh,
Somehow.
okay.
There's
I
not
didn't
two
know you
Miffys.
said- Wow, that's amazing.
Ember also has long sleeves coat, general wintry things, but it is her fur that is giving her warmth, so it's not like she's doubled up. Though she also has her very nice scarf, and she wears it always.
Very nice. Iffy, you were talking about your white jacket giving you bonuses, but do you wear more than your white jacket?
Yum. I guess so. If it's
It's cold.
if I wear a white coat, does it still count?
Yeah, probably.
What if I wear a white puffer?
Shut up.
Very intimidating.
Well, shut up.
I'm just picturing Miffy in like the supreme fit.
Wow.
I don't
So the
know.
party-
I'm already, I can't draw anything else. I fucking have more shit on my plate. I'll make a Photoshop. It's fine.
Alright, so, with your winter clothing worn, the vagabonds approach Featherflight. The wide lake of the woodlands catches the wind on its gently lapping waves, and driftwood is a constant companion no matter which direction you approach from. It greets the boats which approach by the lake on the gentle waves caused by the winds, and it also greets those who travel along the roads or through the woods, raised there by the flooding of spring, and left dotting it throughout the seasons. Now in winter, it would be creating little, like stilted piles of snow, almost like spikes through the forest. And their source is plain to see: a sprawling shanty town of clustered wooden buildings that grows like moss between the trunks and roots of the redwood trees on the lake's edge. This fungal society of domiciles is fed by the drippings of colorful fruits above it, all of the browns and grays below contrasted with the bright reds and blues and yellows that are up in the dwellings of the eerie upper crust above. And icicles extend, not of water and ice, but of ropes and pulleys that connect the town above with the town below, where the supplies that the eerie nobility needs fed from the trade city beneath it. Now,
Ooh.
Featherflight is one city split in two, but there's always a constant flow, whereas even though the nobility lives above and, well, everyone else lives below, there is stuff that the nobility needs, so those pulleys are always running, and they always need people repairing them, sending things up, and even as the party approaches, no matter what time it was they were to arrive, they would be able to see that up and down movement, that flow within the city going. And Miffy, for you, as we mentioned earlier, this is home, somewhere nestled amongst the roots. Though how much family you have remaining and how many friends you think would still be loyal to you, well, that's your call, whether you wish to try to seek them out or who they might be. But you do have a place to go. Oh, sorry, what was it? Go for it.
I was going to say, I do imagine that Miffy did have a lot of family here, but I think if there are any left, it's only a few of them, as they, Miffy got not only, thought she died, but also probably got blamed for something incredibly bad, and probably, she was already sort of like, I don't think very liked, because she was basically like a thug.
Right.
So this probably was like the last straw. Like, most of the family don't even want to be associated with her, and have left, except for maybe a few family members that just like, well, this is my home and there's nothing really I can do, but I don't talk about Miffy anymore.
Right.
We don't talk about Miffy.
It's like anyone who could afford to leave left to avoid the association. Everyone who couldn't afford to leave does everything they can to avoid this association. The good name of Mouse has been sullied.
Yeah.
Indeed.
No longer welcome in the House of Mouse.
Damn. So falls the House of Mouse.
Well,
Yeah, and Miffy's probably like, I don't want to get them in trouble anyway, I guess,
Oh. Miffy, no. We're your family.
Family.
Well, with that being the case, then I imagine you head straight for your marquee contact to try to get situated. Assuming, since you're not trying to rely on family connections, unless, of course, you'd rather get your own home base set up somewhere instead.
Oh, we could. Maybe in the past I had my own secret house. A tree house, tree hole.
You think you had one that only you knew about, or would you consider that location?
I think only the family knew about it.
Family.
And so you
but
think
it's like, small and mouse-sized. I don't know.
Right. I mean, everyone's around the same size, roughly. Theoretically, everyone has the same range.
Smaller than normal,
Right. Yeah, I think that's perfectly fair to say that there's a tucked away, not particularly well maintained little passage somewhere that leads up. Like somewhere not as big as what we see here at the top of this image, but something like that, but at a smaller area, right? Like, and maybe it goes internally, right? Like there's a path that goes up, you go in here, you come out somewhere else, and there's like a small little hut. Certainly Featherflight is more crowded than this map shows, but this is the best visual interpretation or visual representation I could get. So without drawing it myself, and I did not have the time for that. So
I'd like to
deal with it.
I'm saying that this is wonderful artwork, but as with anything that's designed from concept first, finding the artwork afterward very rarely fits it 100%. That's
No worries.
Yeah.
Like, I have this little hole I used to go in when I was a kid. I'm sure it's still open. We're willing to go to it. I want to see what the place has become anyway, and if anybody's found it out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I too want to go back to the hole from whence I came, Miffy. Just to see what it's like now.
Okay. I don't have to worry about you or anything, right?
What? Why'd you need to worry? It's just visiting your old neighborhood.
Visiting your old hole, right?
Yeah.
He gets it.
Yeah, if we were all born from the hole,
I mean, probably.
Well, let's go see Miffy's place.
Come check out my butthole.
Yes, please. I want to get out of the cold.
Oh, all right. Well, it is at least moderately warmer than outside in the town, but Miffy, though, when you arrive there are signs of it having been used since you were last there. It is not in use at present and doesn't appear to have been used in a while. I think just from the scattering of stuff the little like pile of trash in the corner. It looks like someone might have come here, I don't know, a couple months ago when they needed to lay low for a bit. And otherwise, it doesn't look like it's seen much use. If you run into anyone, it probably would be family members. But right now, at least you're in the clear.
Oh yeah, we're good.
All right. How
Just, watch your head.
do we all fit in this little hidey hole?
I imagine, and now Miffy, you can feel free to fill in the details. I imagine it is a place where you could all fit. I just don't imagine it would be comfortable, right? Like and not to say that like, oh, there's only room for one person, but it's like Miffy was saying, it's built for a little bit of a smaller size than even like the average mouse, right? So it's more of a...
It's like it's child-sized.
Hmm.
But it does give you a...
It's a good thing we all like each other, right? We're gonna get nice and cozy.
I feel like this is the closest I've ever been to you, Miffy.
Not when I remember. Remember that time you were sleeping and I was watching you?
Yeah, well, this time you have an excuse to do that.
Oh, I know. If I go in first and lay down, then if you guys I have a lot of fluff right now, so it's not a big deal if there's a little overlap.
I mean, that's fine. I've been in closer situations before with people, compatriots.
All right, so we're in agreement. We all like each other.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good here, but I think we should be with our contact when we're ready, of course.
All right, we'll just dump all our stuff here.
Okay.
Like I said, it's in one of the major trees, so it is mild to moderately warmer than outside, but it is not actively maintained and does have an exterior-facing door/window. So there's plenty of cold breeze that comes in. The shutters have long since fallen apart. But, with some creative stuffing of blankets, you can make it livable.
Yeah.
Not comfortable, but livable. With that, you leave most of your stuff there, and then go and make contact. Head over to... Now, does anyone remember all of the code words that I dropped?
I remember we're supposed to go to the Thistle and Thorn.
Yeah, that's pretty close.
And
Ask.
I know the flavor we're supposed to ask for.
Now we're supposed to ask to inspect. We're here to inspect a fruit shipment, and the type of fruit is crabapple.
All right,
Football.
yeah. Between the two of you, you got it pretty good.
Look at you guys taking notes and whatever. I was not gonna have an answer.
Wow. I was gonna say that your
Mickey,
characters.
you lead the way and you do all the spy talk for us. Why don't you?
Yeah, I was gonna say I wasn't gonna really penalize you guys for not remembering. I just threw it in there. I was very curious, but no, your notes they stood up. Great work.
I didn't write anything down. But yeah.
Well, notes and memory then. So
You guys have way better memory than our regular group.
Well, it helps that
included.
Yeah, I mean, it helps that when it's long term, I do listen to the VOD, so it
That's
does come out
true.
better.
But that was this stream, so
yeah.
When it's relevant. When it's relevant.
Now, if Mordio had said, you need to remember this, it's very vitally important, I probably would not have remembered it all.
All right.
That's a code.
We have to meet our contact, Charles Ovier, or whatever his name was. He's a Marquesian pigeon, right?
What?
Anyway.
I'm mixing up the captain from Dion's Den. But go on.
Right. Okay. So, you head to the thorned thicket and go and make your inquiries about, making your inspections and of the right materials. You're taken to through this warehouse, right? There's a bunch of big wooden buildings all along one of the larger routes that stretches out into the lake. So you're taken to one of the warehouses in particular, and inside all sorts of storage units. One's unlocked and you're allowed inside, where there's all sorts of crab apple preserves, that have been placed there. You get to make your little inspection, maybe have a bit of a taste while you're here. Certainly got a little bit of a sour tang to it. Or maybe not. I don't know. I've never had a crab apple, actually. What do crab apples?
An apple preserve.
They just... something named crab feels like it should be sour, right?
I think it should be succulent, have umami.
Oh.
Open.
I'm
Name
looking at
crab
crab
apple.
apple flavor right now.
Yeah,
Thank
I'm
you.
looking up right now. Mouth-puckering flavor. Bitter punch. All right. Very
Ooh,
bitter.
alright. If you turn that into a preserve or a jam, that would be a really interesting mixture because you gotta make it sweet, but it's gonna have that tang anyway. It's like sweet and sour.
Yeah. I imagine
Flash is already cooking.
Yeah. If you make a dish inspired by it, please do post it. But
If
This is
I
what
can
Milo-
find crab apples.
yeah.
This is what Milo. This is how Milo is checking the shipment.
Yep. So as you're checking the shipment, the contact does enter. Like you're brought there by an employee, and the contact finds you. The contact is a mostly gray bird with a dark black cap on the top of her head of feathers, and
Carol.
also on the edge of her wings and tail. There's also a bit of rust brown on her tail feathers. She introduces herself. Like once you're all in the room and it's closed, she'll introduce herself. My name is Dumatella Caps, but you can call me Ella. I knew to expect you. Well, not you specifically, but I knew to expect some reinforcements soon.
Well, how to do? I'm Milo. This is Miffy. I point to Miffy, and this is Ember. I point to Ember.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you. Here, the Marquis does not have much of a presence here, so seeing some friends is... well, it's comforting, she says, with a bit of a smile. I look forward to working with each of you. Do you have anywhere that you're staying?
In a way.
You could say that.
Well, if you do not require anything, then that's perfectly fine. Otherwise, I could set you up with something.
I mean, just maybe something with a bit more of a floor space. Our current one has not a lot of it. If we can get like just something with maybe 3 beds somewhere, I mean, that'd be mighty fine. But don't go out of your way.
I don't have nice accommodations, but I do have ones with some room. There's an apartment building not too far from here that was renovated a decade ago. I don't know if it was due to incompetence or if someone planned to make use of it and never did, but a maintenance passage was sealed off, as well as one of the apartments only accessible through a hidden path that I'm aware of.
Well, that's peculiar. Must have misread the blueprints.
Yes, or someone planned to use it as a way to spy on someone's movements. Whose, I couldn't say, but it has a wonderful view of the port and all of the ships coming in and out.
Ooh.
I've made
You
good
hear
use of
that?
it myself just to keep track of ship movements here and there over the past few years, but you're more than welcome to stay there if you need.
You hear that, Miffy? A port view.
Oh, so suddenly my butthole is not good enough for you.
I'm just saying, if we're going to be staying in town for a long time, we need a little bit more space. If you want to stay in your current accommodations,
My butthole?
Your
Say it.
butt. I'm sorry, expecting to say it. Your bud, as in like buddy, right?
Yes.
Buddy, hole, you go ahead and do so. All right, serious face.
This is a joke that can only really work in audio, I think.
Good thing I listened to the
Mordio,
pod.
you know what I'm referencing, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I do not.
That's from The Good Place.
Oh, it's Jason. That's right.
Yes, yeah.
You know, I always saw you as kind of a Jason Miffy.
Hey,
Oh,
Miffy, remember, we talked about options. It's good to have options.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I think personally, I'll catch up with you guys. I'll come for sure, but I'm feeling a little nostalgic, so I might just take one night in the butthole.
Okay.
One night in the butthole. My new single coming soon.
All right.
It'll be really weird though to be in my butthole without my buds, but
You had other buds in your butthole?
Of course I have more buds in my butthole.
Wow. Do you know if any of your friends are still around?
No, they're all traitors.
Oh, right, you did get betrayed. Well, did you have any friends outside the company?
You guys.
Oh, Miffy.
Aw.
We come in for the big group hug.
Yeah,
Ella.
We turn to
Standing.
Ella's. You want a little bit of this? You want a little introduction to this, or you good?
She hesitates for a moment. It's like, why not? For camaraderie.
Hey, there we go. I feel it's the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
What's wrong?
You good?
Oh, good.
Yeah.
We're all good. We're all friends here.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was confused what happened.
Something.
I just got excited
Beautiful
and made
moment.
noises.
Okay. Gotcha.
I wasn't trying to scream or yell. I was just making noises.
Okay.
Have you ever heard
Yeah.
Have you ever heard a Happy Fox audio?
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, after the
thank
hug-
you for the
yeah, after the hug, Ella would say, well, we can stay here for a bit, but I think it would be best to move somewhere else, just so any of the employees here who are not on the Marquis payroll, which is to say most of them, don't get suspicious. We have a lot to discuss about Captain Cruella Castor and what she's been up to in the upper parts of the city.
Cruella Castor.
And that's, I
Miffy.
think, where we'll end for tonight. Unless anyone's got a good one-liner they were cooking that they want to end on.
I think it's just she says that name, we're like, Cruella Castor, and then it kind of zooms out from the storage room, and the door slams shut, and on the door is the logo Root Severance Payback. I think that's the end.
Very nice.
Beautiful.
Very nice. I love it. Take it.
Actually, quick question now that it's over. Mordio, have you come up with all the names for the company people that betrayed Miffy without Miffy's input from it? Or Nova's input from it, I guess?
Yes. All the names I
Okay.
came up with. I think Miffy gave a little bit of input on one of these characters, but otherwise I've done all of them myself.
Yeah.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
And even then,
That's
Miffy doesn't
great.
know everything about the one that
Ooh.
input was given. But, a direction.
Also,
A direction was given by Nova, so...
Mhm. Cool.
All right. And actually, before we go, a question mostly for Nova. Do you know what type of bird Ella is?
can you describe it again?
Yeah, mostly gray bird with a dark black, cap on her head. Edge of the wings and tail have a bit of black too, and there's a little bit of rust brown on the tail feathers.
Ugh. Is it a common bird?
Decently.
It has a black cap.
Yep.
Is it a cat bird?
That's right. The
It's
Marquis Spy is a cat
because
bird.
It's a marquee cat.
It's a cat bird smiling or spying for the
Amazing.
Marquis in eerie territory.
Damn. I was gonna be like, why is a bird working for the Marquis? But you know what? There it is.
There it is. It's a cat bird, everyone. I don't know. I thought that was fun, so I wanted to make sure.
You get points for knowing what bird it was.
I don't know if you get points for that, but you do get points for your drives. Let's check those. We forget about that a lot. So I think let's see. Well, I guess you guys, what do you think for yours? Anything come up this time?
I believe, I don't think accomplishing an illicit criminal goal refers to putting on a play without a permit, so I don't think I got anything for that.
That's fair. And you did advance last time when no one else did, I think.
Yeah.
Right.
I think just running out of town doesn't really go with certain doom or incarceration.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly close at any point, right?
Yeah, we did that quite leisurely, if I say so myself.
What about Miffy or Ember? Anything you see on your...
I want to get revenge because I caused harm to Augie's thing.
I could see that.
Yeah, I would say so. I think it would make sense to trigger revenge. You significantly spoiled one of his investments.
True.
So that in his investment was all about the ideals he was trying to push, thus his interests. So
Yeah.
Sweet. I accomplished Wanderlust. We got to a new clearing.
Yeah.
Very nice. All right. So Miffy and Ember will get to look at the rulebook. I think there's also pinned in our Root Severance Payback Discord channel. You will be able to see in the pinned what you can spend those on for next time. And I think that's it for real, right? Like that was the last thing we did. We already did the reputation mid-session.
Yeah.
So, all right.
We sure did.
I'm going to move us over to closing. But before we go, what is everyone up to? Hambone, you got anything coming up?
Just stream when I can. If you want to know when I go live, you can follow me at Radio Bonaire on Twitch and at Radio Bonaire on Blue Sky. I've been doing the Borderlands 3 playthrough with Ezros and Dreamwalker. Although we have not been able to play together because Shift, the infrastructure for Borderlands online play, has prevented me from doing so for 2 weeks in a row. So I've had to play without my friends while on a call with them. But I'm fine about it. It's been fun. So we do that every Wednesday at 12 p.m. PST. And of course, Root every Thursday at 5 p.m. PST. With such lovely people as Mordio Crow, Nova Minakawa, and new Twitch affiliate, I'm Masha26!
Thank you.
Excitement. Twitch cannot contain.
Yes.
Speaking of new Twitch affiliate, Amasha26. New Twitch affiliate, Amasha26. What are you up to?
Well, every Wednesday, I am doing gaming evenings. We have just finished Dredge, so the next thing is going to be new, and I'm still deciding on what exactly we're going to do. But I am looking at the OG Reciteer.
I voted for that one because I want to see it very badly.
There's a remaster coming out later this year, but also I'm impatient.
I believe it's that's the shopkeeping game, if I'm not mistaken, right?
It sure is one of the earlies. And I've watched a friend play through it, and it was tedious but also captivating.
Imagine.
I might start early stream this Saturday, depending on how the rest of this week goes. It's been a pretty busy week for me. So keep an eye out here on my, well, not on this channel, but on my channel, Masha26 at Twitch. And that's the plan.
Yeah. And if you're watching now, or if you watch the VOD, because I believe the VODs retain the title, both of those ats are in the title, right there. I'm pointing at them. You can't see it because we're on the closing screen. And also, I don't have hands. Well, no, I have hands, but, they don't.
You can't see them.
Anyway. As for us here at the library, tomorrow night, Nova and I are probably playing Final Fantasy 14, the new patch 7.2, unless Nova decides that the In Stars and Time is tomorrow instead to make up for Wednesday. I think jury's still out on that. But either way, come here
Fair
for
enough.
a fun time.
Mhm.
And
I mean,
Also, in 2 weeks, it will be my birthday, and I'm doing a stream. I'm gonna do a stream on it's the Wednesday, the 16th. Hopefully with a couple of my friends, and we're gonna do a game. I'm gonna do karaoke. I'm gonna do art. We're gonna do a lot of things. So be there,
so excited.
and maybe join our Discord if you feel like it.
yeah.
Discard. Slowly filling up with cool, nice people.
Hell yeah.
It's always had cool, nice people because it's Mordio and Nova's Discord.
Oh, you. Well, anyway. Thank you.
Audience laugh, outro.
All right. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for coming. We hope you had a good time here at the Limo Branch Library. We hope to see you again soon. Goodbye and good night.
Bye-bye.
Night.
All right.